Hey, welcome to Therapy for Nerds, psychoeducation through nerdy topics. My name is Cassidy, and today we're going to be talking about video games. Specifically, I want to make a case for playing video games with your children. So, if you have found this, you are probably either a child who is trying to convince their parents to play video games with them, or you're a parent who is being shown why you should play video games with your kids. Now, I am a licensed professional, specifically a licensed marriage and family therapist. I specialize in working with teenagers, and specifically nerdy teenagers. Why is that? Because I am a nerd, in case you couldn't tell by what this channel is named. Therapy for Nerds. So video game addiction is a hot topic. It's something that a lot of people have been arguing either for or against. It was recently considered a health diagnosis by the World Health Organization. I mean, heck, even, is it Prince Henry or Prince William that was talking about Fortnite addiction recently? I can't remember. And yes, there are a lot of issues associated with playing video games. I get a lot of parents calling me and wanting me to work with their children, and a lot of them say Fortnite is a huge issue. This whole wanting to play Fortnite and not wanting to get off and not wanting to do anything else has a lot of parents that I work with really struggling. And so what I'm about to say might seem a little counterproductive in a way. But trust me, I have my reasonings. I'm a huge believer in connection parenting. In fact, I will link a book down below all about connection parenting. That's the title of the book itself. It's all about how a child will seek love and connection in whatever way they can. Here's a quote I really enjoyed from Connection Parenting. The level of cooperation parents get from their children is usually equal to the level of connection the children feels with their parents. Now, I can say as a therapist, this is something that I've seen in my clients. If a child is feeling disconnected from their parents, they're not going to listen to their parents. If a child is feeling loved and connected to their parents, then they're much more likely to actually listen to what their parents have to say. And this goes to adult life as well. If you have a boss that is terrible and you don't feel connected with, are you going to be itching to go to work, or are you going to put it off? Are you going to call in sick on that day that they really need you? I used to have a job at the school district, and let me tell you, what some of these adults expected kids to do just because they should be respected? Ooh boy, they didn't get anywhere with those kids. And they would all be really confused when I would just be like, hey dude, come on. And they would stop whatever it is that they were doing, 90% of the time. Whereas they would be like, hey, what are you doing? Don't you dare do that. And then they'd be surprised when the kid continued to act out. In case you couldn't tell, it was really unamusing for me. Well, okay, that's a little bit of a lie. It was a little bit amusing for me. Recently, I was watching the movie Chef. The movie Chef is about this chef who has kind of lost his way in the world. He's feeling burned out, emotionally drained, artistically stifled. There's just not much for him to do. And then he explodes. He loses his job. But then he is able to get back to his roots. And he starts teaching his child and actually working with his child and showing his child like what it is he does and really sharing his love of food. And then their relationship is able to grow. Whereas before they were so disconnected and he just wasn't putting any effort into the relationship. If your relationship is not growing, it's shrinking. The more you do to help build the relationship, the better. In one of my earlier videos, I talked about Niantic games and their mental health benefits. And towards the end of the video, I talked about how it can really help build a stronger connection with your children if you're willing to play it with them. And I've seen a lot of families that are out about having a lot of fun catching Pokemon together. That's what I'm talking about. It is possible to use video games as a way of building connection as opposed to letting it be something that disconnects you from your child. As opposed to letting it be that spike that gets wedged between you and your family and creates this impossible to reach gap. Video games don't have to be the problem. They can be part of the solution. Now, please don't take that as saying I'm saying you should play video games 24/7 because you'll die. There's people that have died from playing video games nonstop. But if we change our relationship with them, we can make it more healthy. I, for one, played a lot of video games when I was growing up. I mostly played them with my sister. But I have this one memory that's clear as day, even though I was really young at the time, of my mom playing this really old racing game on the Nintendo 64 with us. I don't even remember what it was called, and that game is in storage now, so I don't think I could bring it up to show you. If I can find it, I'll try to put a picture up. But anyways, I remember it being so much fun playing with that game with her, even though she was driving on the wrong side of the road and lost because she was driving backwards. But it's a memory that sticks out with me because it's the one time that I remember her actually playing the game with us. And this can go for other things as well. I remember one of my favorite TV shows growing up to watch was Dexter's Laboratory. Not because I thought Dexter's Laboratory was the best show in the universe, and it was a great show, I really enjoyed it, but because it was the one show that my sister and I would watch, that whenever my dad would see it, he'd stop whatever it was that he was doing, and he'd actually sit down and watch it with us. Pretty sure he took us to the Powerpuff Girls movie just so that he could see the Dexter's Laboratory opening. But I didn't mind. That was time where he actually sat down with us, and that was so rare. And it was special. When families come in asking for what they can do to help a child deal with their emotions, one of the main things I tell them to do is to just spend time with them, build that relationship. And the best thing to do is to know what your kid's into and to actually do it with them. And if you're worried about a child doing something like watching the latest season of 13 Reasons Why, and you're worried what your child's going to take away from that, watch it with them. Have a conversation with them about what it is that they're taking away from it and what it is you're taking away from it. Having those kind of conversations about those really hard to talk about topics can actually be really beneficial. Now, I'm not saying 13 Reasons Why is the best mental health representation and all that. I think that's a really contentious thing. I recently binged all of Dead to Me, and if you haven't seen it, it's a pretty fun show. And I don't think this is a spoiler. I'm gonna try to not spoil as much as possible. But there's this part in the series where the kid is subtly trying to convince the mom to play video games with them. And at first, the mom really brushes it off, like, oh no, I would never do that. But then she finally decides, fine, I'll do it. And the look on the kid's face is priceless. He gets really excited. And that's exactly what would happen. I had one session with a family years ago, back when I was still in grad school, and it really stood out to me because the kid was really into Gravity Falls, a cartoon series on Disney XD, one that I personally really enjoy and thought was amazing. But then the parent was like, oh yeah, the journals are magic or whatever, I don't really watch it. Really brushing it off and making it sound like, oh yeah, I would never be into that kind of childish stuff, that's for the kids. And I was like, yeah, Being a trainee who felt really uncomfortable in her own skin and was not ready yet to say, I'm a nerd and I'm proud, I didn't know how to tell the parent that I actually really enjoyed the show too, and that it's actually a really good show and that they should probably give it a try. Now I would be. My sister was telling me when she was a cashier at Target one time that this parent brought up a My Little Pony doll, and the little girl was really excited about it. And my sister, having seen My Little Pony, asked who the little girl's favorite pony was. And I forgot what the little girl answered, but then the little girl asked my sister what her favorite pony was. And so my sister said Rarity. And the mom was like, oh, okay. Why's that? And my sister was like, oh, because Rarity is a really generous self-starter who has her own business and is a business owner. And the mom was like, oh, I didn't know that. Kids can take away a lot of really great positives if we're able to be open to watch it with them and talk to them about what those positives are. I know some parents are not into watching Minecraft videos or My Little Pony or anything of that nature, but find things that you are willing to do. If you both have a love of classic Disney animation, watch it, talk about it. Marvel movies? Great. Those are super popular and a lot of people tend to like those. Great. And maybe it's pushing yourself out of your comfort zone and watching that anime movie with your kid. Hey, Miyazaki films are amazing. If you haven't seen them, I really recommend them. My personal favorite is Howl's Moving Castle. My point is, meet your children where they're at, build a connection off of that, and your relationship will flourish. I think that's where I'm going to end it today. If you like this video and want to see more like it, please like, comment, subscribe, all that other YouTubery stuff, and let me know down below what it is that you remember doing with your parents that you really enjoyed, or what is it you wish your parents had done with you. All right, bye.